a one level. Hi there. Welcome to Master English Point. Today we're going on a special journey together. You won't need a pen. You won't need a classroom. You just need your ears, your voice, and your heart. That's all. In this video, we'll discover your English level, from beginner to expert, from A1 to C2. But this isn't like a school test. There are no grades, no pressure, just stories, real stories. You will listen, you will speak, you will feel, and slowly you'll start to know where you are. Let's begin at the very first step, the A1 level. This is where many people start. Maybe this is your level, maybe not. Let's find out together. My name is Ali. I am 25 years old. I live in a quiet town. I live with my brother. His name is Amir. We have a small cat. Her name is Lulu. Every day I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I open my eyes. I smile. I say, "Thank you for today." Then I stand up. I brush my teeth. I wash my face. I eat breakfast. I drink tea. My breakfast is simple. I eat eggs and bread. I feel good. After breakfast, I go outside. I walk to the bus stop. I take the bus to work. I work in a bookshop. I like my job. I help people find books. I talk to kind people. I smile a lot. I learn new things every day. At 1 o'clock, I eat lunch. I eat rice and vegetables. Sometimes I eat chicken. I drink water. After lunch, I work again. I finish work at 5 o'clock. I go home. On the bus, I look outside the window. I see trees. I see people. I listen to soft music. I feel calm. In the evening, I cook dinner. I cook pasta or soup. I eat with my brother. We talk. We laugh. We feel close. After dinner, I clean the kitchen. Then I sit on the sofa. I watch TV. I watch shows in English. I try to understand. I don't understand every word, but I try. That's how we grow. Before bed, I read a small book. I love reading. It helps my English. Then I drink warm milk. I brush my teeth again. I lie down. My cat sleeps next to me. I close my eyes. I think about my day. I smile again. Life is not big, but it is mine, and I am happy. If you understood most of that, you are probably a one level, and that's amazing. You're not starting from zero. You already understand a full English story. Let's keep going. Let's grow. A 2 level. Let's continue together with the next step. A 2 level. At this level, the sentences are a bit longer. The words are more connected. You'll hear more about daily life plans and little feelings. Take a breath. You're doing well. My name is Samira. I live in a small apartment with my sister, Farah. We moved here 1 year ago. Our apartment has 2 bedrooms, 1 kitchen, 1 bathroom, and a small balcony with 3 plants. I love our plants. One is a flower, one is a cactus, one is just green leaves. Every morning I wake up before the sun. I turn off my alarm and sit up slowly. I always say to myself, "You can do this." Today is a new chance. Then I go to the kitchen and make tea. I like to start my day quietly. No noise, no rush. Just warm tea and quiet thoughts. I work in a small cafe downtown. It is cozy and peaceful. I start work at 8 o'clock in the morning. I make coffee. I serve cakes. I smile at every customer. Some customers talk to me. Some just say thank you. But I try to speak with everyone. I say, "How is your day?" Or, "Do you want sugar with that?" One man comes every Friday. He always wears a blue jacket. He orders 1 black coffee and 1 chocolate muffin. We never talk much, but last week he smiled and said, "You make good coffee." That made me happy for the whole day. I work until 3 p.m. After that, I walk home. I pass a bookstore and a small park. I like to stop at the bookstore and look at the English books. Sometimes I buy one. Sometimes I just read a page. I learn new words like grateful and sunset. At home, I clean a little. I wash dishes. I fold laundry. Then I call my mother. She lives in another city. We talk about small things, like the weather, or food, or her new neighbors. Her voice makes me feel calm. In the evening, my sister and I cook dinner. We try one new recipe every week. Last week, we made lentil soup with lemon. This week, we want to make stuffed peppers. Cooking helps us relax. We laugh when we make mistakes, like last time when we forgot the salt. After dinner, I study English. I use an app. I watch videos. I say sentences out loud. I repeat them many times, like, "I want to improve my English," or "Today I learned 5 new words." Speaking helps me remember. Some nights I feel tired. I feel slow, but I still speak, even for 5 minutes. I say, "You are growing. Keep going." Before bed, I sit on the balcony. I look at the stars. I breathe slowly. I say the words I learned that day, like friendly, helpful, soft music, early morning. On weekends, I go to the park. I bring my notebook. I write what I see. I see a man walking a dog. I write, "The dog runs fast." The man laughs. I see children eating ice cream. I write, "The girl wears a pink dress. She looks happy." I also talk to strangers, just a little. I say, "Beautiful day today," or "Is this seat free?" These small sentences make big changes. Every sentence gives me confidence. Every smile is a step forward. Last Sunday, I helped a tourist. She looked confused. She asked, "Do you speak English?" I said, "A little." Then I showed her the way to the train station. After she left, I felt proud. I used my English to help someone. That is why I learn. At night, I sometimes write my dreams. I want to visit another country, maybe Canada, maybe Japan. I want to speak English with people from around the world. I want to hear their stories. I want to share my story. Learning English is not just about grammar or words. It's about connection. It's about feeling brave. It's about saying, "I am ready to learn." If you understood this story and it felt real and personal, you are probably at A2 level. You can understand daily routines, small emotions, and everyday moments. That's powerful. Let's keep walking together. The journey is just beginning. B1 level. Now let's walk into the B1 level. This is the intermediate level. Here, stories become more complex. Emotions are deeper. Thoughts are longer. You hear more about people's choices, challenges, and dreams. Take your time. Feel every word. My name is Daniel. I live in a busy city with millions of people. I work as a customer support specialist for a small technology company. Our office is on the 10th floor of a tall glass building. From the window, I can see the whole city. My job is to help customers solve problems. Most of my day is spent on the phone or typing emails. Some people are angry, some people are confused. I listen carefully. I stay calm. I try to help them. I say, I understand. Let's fix this together. I start work at 9 a.m. I take the metro. It's always crowded. I hold my bag close. I listen to English podcasts. I repeat the sentences in my head. Sometimes I whisper them, like, "How can I help you today?" Or, "Let me check that for you." At the office, I drink coffee and review my notes. I keep a notebook of useful English phrases. One page says, apologizing. I wrote, "I'm sorry for the delay. Thank you for your patience." Another page says, explaining. I wrote, "Let me show you how it works. This is what you can do next." These small phrases are my tools. They help me do my job better. They make me feel confident. During lunch, I sit with coworkers. We talk about music, travel, and sometimes politics. I listen more than I speak, but when I do speak, I try to use new words. Last week I said, "I find that very inspiring." One person smiled and said, "Your English is getting better." After work, I usually go to the gym. I run on the treadmill. I lift weights. I feel strong. I listen to motivational speeches in English. They say, "Push yourself. You are more than your fear." These words stay in my mind. On Wednesdays, I join an English speaking group. We meet in a library. We sit in a circle. One person talks about their week, then the next person speaks. Last time I talked about my childhood. I said, I used to play near a river. I would catch frogs with my friends. People laughed. I felt connected. Sometimes we play a game. One person says a word. The next person makes a sentence with it. Someone said journey. I said, learning English is a long journey, but I am enjoying the ride. Every evening before bed, I read a few pages of a book. Right now, I'm reading a novel about a boy who wants to become a doctor. The story is touching. I underline phrases like, he looked out the window and saw the world waiting for him. At night, I write in my journal. I write in English. I write about my day. I write my thoughts. Yesterday I wrote, today I made someone smile. That is success. Learning English is not just about understanding. It's about expressing. It's about feeling free. Free to speak, free to ask, free to connect. Sometimes I feel stuck. I forget words. I say things wrong. But then I remind myself, you are better than yesterday. Keep going. On weekends, I visit my grandmother. She only speaks our native language. I teach her small English words. I say, this is apple. She laughs and says, Apu. We both smile. I also take long walks in the park. I see people reading books, jogging, walking dogs. I describe what I see. I say out loud, that woman is wearing a red hat. That man is feeding birds. It's like my own private lesson. I believe in the use it or lose it rule. If I learn a word, I must use it. I use it in my journal. I say it at work. I whisper it on the train. One word I love is hopeful. I try to stay hopeful. About English, about life. If you followed this story, felt what I felt, and understood the flow, then your English is likely B1. You understand more than facts. You understand thoughts, emotions, and everyday reflections. Let's keep going. Let's go deeper. B2 level. Now let's move to the B2 level. This is upper intermediate. If you're here, your English is already strong. But now you will hear more detailed ideas. You will hear personal reflections, life decisions, and deeper thoughts. Let's walk together. My name is Layla, and I work as a freelance writer. I write for online magazines and small businesses. I create articles, blog posts, and product descriptions. I write from home. Some days I write a lot. Other days I read and do research. Every day is different. I used to work in an office. I had a regular schedule, a regular salary, and regular meetings. It was safe. But I felt like I was not growing. I felt stuck. So one day I made a decision. I said, Layla, it's time to change. I talked to my boss. I said, thank you for everything. But I need something different. It was scary, but it was also exciting. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have clients, but I had one thing. I had hope. In the beginning, life was hard. I woke up early and sent emails to companies. I wrote for free to build my portfolio. I joined writing groups. I learned how to talk to clients. I made mistakes. Sometimes people didn't pay me. Sometimes they changed their minds, but I kept going. Now I have regular clients. I write articles about health, travel, and personal growth. I love the freedom of working from home. I make my own schedule. I can take a break when I want. I can work at night. I can go for a walk during the day. But freedom is not easy. It comes with responsibility. I must manage my time. I must find new clients. I must write well. I must meet deadlines. If I don't work, I don't earn. I learned many lessons. One big lesson is about communication. When a client says, I want something friendly, that word can mean many things. So I ask, do you want it casual like a conversation or polite like a formal email? Clear questions bring clear answers. Another lesson is about self-motivation. Nobody tells me what to do. I have to push myself. I make a to-do list every morning. I write blog post, edit article, send invoice. Every time I finish a task, I cross it out. That small action gives me energy. I also take care of my mental health. I don't just work. I also rest. I meditate in the morning. I stretch my body. I drink water. I go outside and breathe fresh air. Once a week, I meet a friend in a coffee shop. We talk about our work. We help each other. She is a graphic designer. I am a writer. We share ideas. We laugh. We support each other. Sometimes I feel lonely. I miss office talk, birthday cake, and group lunches. But I remind myself, you chose this path for a reason. I keep learning. I take online courses. I read books about writing. I follow successful writers on social media. I watch interviews. I write down quotes that inspire me. One quote I love says, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." I believe that. When I enjoy a topic, I write better. The words come easily. The sentences flow. One time, I wrote an article about a woman who teaches music to children with disabilities. Her story moved me. I cried while writing. Later, she sent me a message. She said, "Thank you for telling my story with love." That message made all the hard work feel worth it. Writing connects people. Words have power. They can teach. They can heal. They can open hearts. I also use English in my daily life. I listen to podcasts about creativity. I watch movies with English subtitles. I write my shopping list in English. I think in English when I walk. If I hear a new word, I try to use it in three different sentences. I say it out loud. I write it in my notebook. I use it in an email. That way, it becomes part of me. My favorite English word right now is resilient. It means strong after difficulty. I say to myself, "Layla, you are resilient. You fall, but you rise." I often talk to myself in English. I say, "You can do this, one step at a time. Keep going." On Sundays, I rest completely. I turn off my laptop. I read a novel. I cook a special meal. I call my parents. I water my plants. I enjoy the little things. Last Sunday, I made soup. As I was chopping vegetables, I thought about my journey, from office job to freelance life, from fear to courage, from silence to words. I smiled. I said to myself, "This is your life, and you are doing well." If you understood this story and felt the message, your English is likely at B2. You can follow long thoughts. You can feel emotions through words. You can understand not just what is said, but also why. Let's continue our journey. You are doing something wonderful. C1 level. Let's move now to the C1 level. This is the advanced level. At this point, English feels more natural. You begin to understand not just what is said, but the deeper meaning behind it. You can follow longer thoughts, emotional connections, and subtle language. Let's explore this level together. My name is Thomas, and I lead a small nonprofit organization that supports mental health awareness. It's a cause close to my heart. When I was in college, I struggled with anxiety. I often felt overwhelmed. I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't have the language for my emotions. That silence became heavy. Years later, I decided to turn that silence into a voice. I began volunteering. Then I started writing articles. One thing led to another, and now I manage a small team. We organize workshops, we create online campaigns, and we talk to students, teachers, and families. No 2 days are the same. Some mornings I wake up early and visit a school. I sit in classrooms and speak with teenagers about stress, pressure, and self-esteem. I tell them, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real. Other days, I stay at home and write. I write newsletters. I write stories of people who found strength in vulnerability. I try to be honest, because honesty, even when it's quiet, creates change. Leading a team is a learning process. I don't pretend to have all the answers. I listen. I ask questions. I try to create a space where people feel safe to express. One of my team members once told me, I never felt heard in my last job. Here I feel seen. That moment stayed with me. I believe in the power of storytelling. When someone shares their experience, it makes others feel less alone. Last month, we published a series of interviews. One was from a young man who battled depression for 2 years. His words were simple, but they touched thousands. People wrote to us saying, that story helped me feel understood. I often reflect on how language affects emotions. The way we say something changes how it is received. For example, instead of saying, don't panic, I say, take a breath. You are safe. Small shifts, big impact. In my free time, I enjoy long walks. I live near a river. In the evenings, the light dances on the water. I often walk with a notebook in my pocket. If a thought comes, I write it down. Last week I wrote, healing doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's just choosing to wake up and try again. English plays a big part in my life. Many of our events are in English. I give talks. I host webinars. I write letters to partners abroad. I've learned that advanced English is not just about big words. It's about clarity. It's about tone. It's about connecting with hearts, not just minds. Recently, I spoke to a group of teachers. I said, sometimes students act out not because they want to cause trouble, but because they don't know how to say, I'm scared. After the session, a teacher told me, I never thought of it that way. That's why I do this work, to help people see with softer eyes. I also believe in pausing, in slowing down. In a world that moves fast, silence is a kind of wisdom. When I feel overwhelmed, I stop. I breathe. I listen to music, not to escape, but to return to myself. One song I love says, you don't have to carry it all. Every time I hear it, I feel lighter. Music, like language, has the power to hold us. My team sometimes calls me the calm one. Maybe because I speak slowly. Maybe because I don't rush. I think being calm is not about always being peaceful. It's about how you respond when things feel out of control. One of our events didn't go well last year. The projector failed. The speaker canceled. The audience was waiting. I stood up and said, let's talk. Let's not worry about the plan. Let's connect. And we did. It became one of our best sessions. When people ask me, how can I improve my English? I say, speak from the heart. Learn the words that help you share your truth. Grammar matters. Vocabulary helps. But connection is everything. Every week, I write a reflection. It's like a short letter to myself. Last week, I wrote, you are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to begin again. English has become my second skin. I dream in English. I pray in English. I comfort in English. But more than the language, I focus on intention. I once met a man who spoke slowly and used simple words. But everything he said stayed with me because he spoke with presence. That's what advanced English is. It's not just fast or fancy. It's meaningful. If you followed this story, if you understood the ideas and felt the emotions, then your English is likely at C1. You can follow long sentences, emotional expressions, and deeper meanings. Let's continue. There is still one more level to explore. C2 level now we arrive at the final level, C2, expert, native-like. At this level, English feels natural. Thoughts are layered. Words are selected not only for meaning, but for mood, music, and emotional color. This is where language becomes art. My name is Eliana. I write essays, speak on stages, and consult for organizations that want to make meaningful change. But if you ask me who I am, I would say this. I am a collector of quiet moments. I am someone who listens more than she speaks. I am someone who finds stories in shadows. Most mornings, I wake before the sun. I sit by the window. I hold a warm cup of tea. I watch how the light begins to touch the world. That thin golden thread stretching across buildings, across trees, across rooftops. It feels like a whisper from the universe, a reminder that life moves even when we are still. In my work, I help people communicate with clarity, depth, and soul. I work with artists, teachers, and leaders. People who want to speak not just to inform, but to awaken. And what I always say is this: words are bridges. Use them to connect, not separate. A few months ago, I helped a woman write a speech about her childhood in war. Her memories were heavy. Her voice trembled. But when she stood on stage, she found calm. She said, "Even when there were bombs outside, my mother would sing." She wanted me to believe that peace was still possible. The room was silent. And then many cried, not because her English was perfect, but because her truth was pure. That's what language is. Not just grammar, not just structure, it's soul, it's spirit. In my personal writing, I explore the themes of memory, longing, and belonging. I ask questions. What does it mean to belong to yourself? What does it mean to carry silence with dignity? What do we owe each other as humans passing through time? My essays are like rivers. They don't move fast, they meander, they pause, they notice. They flow around stones, not over them. And in that space of slowness, something sacred begins to emerge. a soft truth, a shared humanity. I often write about my grandmother. She could not read or write, but she told the most poetic stories. One time she said, "The moon is like a mother watching over us, but she keeps her distance so we can grow." I still think about that. I use English not to impress, but to invite. I want my words to feel like an open door. Come in, sit down, take your time. In conversations, I pause often, not because I don't know what to say, but because I want to listen deeply first. I believe the world would be different if we all listened just one layer deeper. Some people think C2 means big words, fast speaking, or perfect accent, but I disagree. I think C2 is the freedom to speak simply when you choose to, the ability to hold silence when it says more, the gift of saying one word that touches more than 1,000 ever could. Last week, a friend asked me, "How do you stay so calm when the world is in chaos?" I smiled and said, "I don't stay calm. I return to calm." There is a difference. One is control. The other is grace. In my free time, I walk in nature. I sit under trees. I watch birds. I listen to the sound of the wind through dry leaves. It teaches me things that books never could. It teaches me to notice. I keep a journal, not to remember, but to process. I write things like, "Today I felt invisible." But maybe invisibility is not absence. Maybe it's a kind of freedom. And I let the sentence sit on the page like a friend sitting beside me. I also read poetry, slowly, out loud. I let the rhythm settle in my chest. I repeat lines that feel like medicine. One of my favorite lines is, "Be patient with all that is unsolved in your heart." I whisper it when I feel lost. Sometimes I host small gatherings in my home. We light candles. We sit in a circle. We each bring a quote that shaped our week. We speak. We listen. We reflect. These moments feel ancient, sacred, real. English, for me, is not just a tool. It's a companion, a mirror, a map, a home I built word by word. I didn't learn it to pass a test. I learned it to understand the world and myself with more tenderness. If you understood this story, not just the sentences, but the silences between them, then your English is likely at C2. You are not just learning English, you are living through it, thinking through it, feeling through it. Let that be your celebration, not perfection, but presence. This is the end of our journey, from A1 to C2. But language has no finish line. It's a river. It keeps flowing. And so do you. Thank you for walking this path with me. You are doing beautifully. You have now listened to the full journey, from A1 to C2, from simple words to subtle emotion, from short sentences to layered reflections, and most importantly, from listening to feeling. Now it's your turn. Tell us in the comments, what level felt easy? What story felt just right for you? And if you have a topic you want us to create a video on, let us know. We are here for you. Subscribe to Master English Point. Like the video. Share it with your friends who want to improve their English in a kind and supportive way. Thank you for being part of this journey. And remember, fluency is not about perfection. It's about connection. See you in the next video.